Hello, everybody. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. This is Joe from PrepAgent. Today's Friday, and we're ready to start today's webinar. How's everybody going? How's everybody doing? I shouldn't say how everybody's going. Thumbs up from John. Nice to see you, John. John's been regularly attending. That's great. Lori, good. So today I wanted to try something a little different. As I mentioned to you guys before, I was going to look for questions from our Facebook group that people had, and I found some of those questions. I wanted to go over some of them. Like we said a week ago, we were going to look for questions that people post in that Facebook group that we have on Facebook. It's called Facebook Real Estate Exam Study Group, the PrepAgent group. And I wanted to pull some questions people are asking about from there. So that Facebook group is on, just look up Facebook Real Estate Exam Study Group PrepAgent, and you can find it. All right, Jessica, so just look there. So I wanted to answer some of those questions people had, go over that. And then after that, we resume that word cloud. I know we said go over agency today, so we'll be talking a little bit about those, and then we'll go from there. How's that sound? What do you guys think? A little change of pace than just doing the questions? Something a little different? Well, I hope you guys like it. Okay. As everybody see that board, it says agencies. Okay, it says agencies up there. So what do you guys know about agency? So first, I want anybody to write down anything they know about agency, and we'll start there. Just you hear the word agency, what comes to mind? What comes to mind when you hear the word agency? So I see the word fiduciary, good. Listing contract, good. So let's start with that word fiduciary. Okay, so I'm going to write down on the board the word fiduciary. Fiduciary. Okay, what does that mean? What does fiduciary relationship mean? Who knows? So fiduciary relationship really should mean to you, you're putting the client's interests above and beyond your own. Okay, you're putting the client's interests above and beyond your own. Okay, super important. And it's not just real estate agents. Lawyers have that, doctors have that fiduciary relationship. Okay, I also see some of you guys writing the word cold. Let's do it like this. A-C-O-L-D. Okay, a cold. That's very important. Who could tell me what that A stands for in a cold? What do you guys think? That A. What does that A stand for there? Okay, so first we got that A. Accountability. Good. Oh, spelling. Confidentiality, which could also be considered care, if you want to use that word, easier to spell. Obey, loyalty, and disclose. Okay? Accountability, confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. Okay? So you guys got to remember that for your exam. These are the essentials of an agency. Okay? So if you see it on the board, I want you to write that down. Everybody see it there? So I want you to write that down. Accountability, confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, and disclosure. Okay? That's what that code stands for. And that's the essentials of agency. Those are the essentials of agencies. Super important. Okay? Okay, so we all got that there. Now, when you hear the word agency, there's different types of agencies. Who knows what they are? Who knows the different types of agency? You guys ever heard of a special agent, general agent, universal agent, things of that nature? Who's ever heard of that before? A special agent or specific agency, things of that name. General agency, Jenny in Colorado. Nice to see you again. Okay, so John, that right to sell and exclusive agency, those are types of listing contracts. That doesn't really have to do with the agency relationship, though. Okay, so who's ever heard this term special agent before? Anybody ever heard this thing called a special agent? Kind of sounds very James Bondish, special agent. Dual agent, something good. Sub agent, all those are good. Okay. So here, I already wrote this to be ready for today. Different types of agency. Special agent, general agent, universal agent. All right. So you guys have on the board the special agent. Let me make this a little easier to see for everybody. What's that special agent all about? Who knows what a special agent is about? You could kind of see the summary on the board a little bit, but who knows what a special agent is about? Who here could write and tell me? Okay, Lori, nice job. They do one specific thing. Okay, one specific act. Okay, so what's a general agent about? Who knows what a general agent is? Okay, general agent, they could do many things that relate to somebody's business. They're authorized to perform many acts. And a universal one is everything, every single thing. Okay, they basically are you as a universal agent. Okay, now here's my question for you. Which one of those would you call an accountant, for example? Is an accountant a specific agent, a general agent, or a universal agent? What do you guys think? So an accountant, which one would that be? Okay, so an accountant would be specific. It's one act. They're doing your taxes and they move on. Okay, what would you call, let's say I'm a super rich billionaire and I have a lawyer that just acts for me. Which one would that be? So I'm one of these super rich billionaires who says, talk to my lawyer about every single thing. Which one could that be? That would be like that universal agent. Good. Nice job, Madison. Nice job, John. What would you call a property manager? A property manager, which one would that be? So a property manager. That would be the general agent. Good job, everybody. And most importantly, what would you call a real estate agent who has a listing contract? So a real estate agent who has a listing contract, which one would that be? That would be the specific agent. Good job. So it seems like everybody's got this down pretty well. And down below, I wrote down a listing agreement is for a specific agency. So you wrote that down. So you get the gist of what we're doing today. What do you guys think of what I'm doing today? Do you guys like this change? Is it a change of pace? Is it okay? I hope you guys like it. I want to, plan something. I feel like I'm a chef at a restaurant. I want to give you guys some different variety. Don't want to give you the same soup every day. Okay, good. If you guys said this was terrible, it would be like insulting mother's cooking. All right, here we go. So the specific agent, all right, that's like your real estate agent, okay? They do one specific act. So right now we went over that word fiduciary, a cold, right? And the different types of agencies, okay? Okay, good job, everybody. Okay, and here I wrote a little bit more. You can see with that term a cold. It's right down here. Okay, this is just a review. And remember, guys, in case you can't read everything I'm writing here, it's going too fast. Don't forget, we have this all on replay under your account. So you could go back to this and see this whenever you want. Okay? All right. There's some notes you got there. An agent is a party who acts in place of a principal. So basically, you are that person. There's different degrees. You are that person. We just went over special agent, general agent, universal agent. Okay? All right. Moving right along. So we went over all this about agency. Who's ever heard of a 1031 tax deferred exchange? So a lot of people on the group are asking about a 1031 exchange. So we want to go over that. So I get a lot of questions about that. And this is important not only for your real estate exam, but also for as you practice real estate. A lot of people specialize in this. There's law firms who specialize in this, and real estate agents who specialize in just this, just these exchanges. So who knows what a 1031 exchange is? Write down what you know, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit. Okay, so John's writing a little about Lori, tax deferred goods, not tax free, it's tax deferred. Okay, John Hillman wrote, taking the amount gained and putting it into a smaller, more expensive property to defer taxes. Excellent, John. Good job. Okay, so you hear the word like kind. So let's break it down to the simplest terms before we do anything else. Okay, when you have this 1031 tax deferred exchange, what you're doing is you're taking the money from another property. And instead of just taking it out and going buying cookies and cars or whatever else you enjoy with it, okay, you're going to put it into another property, right? Because if you take that money and put it into your pocket, it'll get taxed. It'll be a capital gains tax. And what this is an incentive to take the money from one property and put it into another property. The government wants to give that incentive because they like it. If everybody owns properties, then the community is better, people build wealth, everybody wins. Okay? So that's why the government gives people that incentive. So that's why they call it tax deferred and not tax free, because eventually you're going to take the money out of that property. And when you do, it's going to be taxed, but it's deferred until that. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me so far before we go to the next thing. Give me a thumbs up. All right. So when we talk about this 1031 exchange, there's certain time frames you guys have to be aware of. Who knows what time frames that we have to be aware of when we're talking about this 1031 exchange? So there's certain time limits you got to know. Anybody know what they are? Okay, so John writes 45 and 180. Okay, Jessica wrote 90 days and 180. Oh, 45, nice correction. You just used the proverbial eraser on the back of your pencil there. Good. Okay, so what do you have to do in 45 days? Let's start with that one. The 45 days. What has to be done with that one? What do you have to do within 45 days? Who knows? What do you have to do within 45 days? Okay, it's 45 days. You got to identify the other property. And what do you have to do within 180 days? What do you guys have to do within 180 days? Okay, so John wrote close. Linda, nice job, Linda. Close. Okay, and here it is. I have it on the board. 45 days from the date you sell the relinquished property to identify potential replacement properties. Okay. Okay, and here's that other one. You have to identify the replacement property in 45 days. 180 days. The replacement property must be received in exchange completed no longer than 180 days. Okay. These are the important dates you have to remember with a 1031 exchange. 45 days and 180 days. And this is on the board. And once again, if you don't have to write all this down frantically right now, you'll be able to see this video when you go back in your account and be able to see it again right there. But the big thing is that 45 days, 180 days. If you understand what we just went over, it's not going to make you an expert in 1031 tax deferred exchange, but it will help you get past the real estate exam, right? Everybody's happy about that. Pass the exam, learn later. Pass now, learn later. Yes? You all agree? High five. Okay, moving right along. Anybody have any questions about that? 45 days and 180 days. Okay, thanks, Nathan. The boot. Ooh, Jenny's been studying. She's asking the complicated questions. Okay, the boot is the taxable difference. Okay, when you have your 1031 tax deferred exchange, okay, it's not always going to be exactly equal. Things aren't going to work out perfectly. The boot is that taxable difference between the two properties. Once again, I'm not a super big expert on this, but for the purposes of passing your exam, boot is the taxable amount when you exchange the properties. How they determine that taxable amount is above our pay grade, but that's what the boot is. Okay, so when you study tax 31 exchange, you'll hear the word boot. Boot represents the taxable amount when you do it. Does the boot have to be in cash? Like I said, lawyer, I'm not an expert on that. I believe not, but check that with a lawyer or an expert. But as for your exam, that's what you have to know for your exam. Okay, let's move on to the next topic I wanted to hit on today. Mortgages. Who knows what mortgage means? I bet you all know. It's not even that relevant to the exam, but I bet you all you guys know. Who knows what the origins of the word mortgage is? Death pledge. Death pledge is right. John wrote death promise, but it's a death pledge. Ugh, sounds scary, right? Death pledge. Okay, when we talk about mortgages, there's basically two things that you have to be aware of. A mortgage versus a trust deed. Now, different states use different ones for different amounts of time, but we all have to know what they are. Said your state may use a mortgage more than a trust deed or a trust deed more than a mortgage, but you all have to know what they both are. The degree of depth you have to know what each one is may vary upon state to state, but we should all know on surface what they are. So who could tell me just basic stuff? What's the difference between a mortgage and a trust deed? Who knows? What's the basic difference between a mortgage and a trust deed? Now, they're both used to get loans. They're both meant as security instruments. But what's the fundamental difference between the two? Okay, here we go. I'm going to write this down for everybody. Mortgage is two parties. Trust deed is three parties. All right. And like I said, we're just going to cover the basic stuff here so you guys can pass your exam. We're not going to go into huge depth with this. A mortgage as a mortgagor, mortgagee. Okay, a trust deed as a trustor, oh, spelling, trustee, and beneficiary. Okay, does everybody see that on the board? Arthur always gets mad at me about grammar and spelling, so I'm going to try and be on it because he's on the call today. That's what true friends do. They keep you honest and keep you on point, right, guys? Everybody should have one when they work in real estate. Okay. So you got mortgage, two parties, trustee, three parties. Mortgagor is usually who? Who's usually the mortgagor? What do you guys think? There's nothing to do with testate and intestate. That has to do with wills. I see Jessica asking that. Yeah. So the mortgagor is the person borrowing money. I don't want to say the buyer because you can have situations where you refinance, you're not borrowing a home, but you're still borrowing money. Excuse me, you're not buying a home, but you're still borrowing money. Okay. So also, that is the trustor. Okay. How do I get rid of that red line? Anybody know? Ah, there you go. Ignore spelling. Good. All right. So that is the person who's borrowing the money. Okay. Why do these people have an OR? Because we learned that OR is the giver, but they're receiving money. So why do they have that OR, the last part of the word? What do you guys think? Why is there that OR? Nice job, Alex. Giving the promise. Okay, they're pledging the property. Good. They're giving that promissory note. They're the ones giving that security. People always say, why is it OR if they're receiving money? Well, before you receive money, you have to give something. You have to give a pledge. You have to give something. I'm not just giving you money without you giving me some security to know that you'll pay me back. All right. So that's what OR is all about. Good job, everybody. Okay. Now, the trustee and the mortgagee, they are the people who receive legal title, which is the right to sell. Okay. All right. They are the people who receive legal title, the right to sell. Okay. That's what they're receiving. And that's in that form of what you guys said, that promissory note, given that security. They receive that ability to take the property away from you if you don't pay them back. Does that make sense? So everything's easy so far. Okay. Or is everybody following me so far? Give me a thumbs up if you're following me so far. So far, so good. Hopefully, I'm explaining this a little better than your textbooks you get in class. Trying to simplify it a little bit. Okay, so far, everything's similar. Okay, are you guys ready for the big difference here? Drum roll, please. The big difference here. Here's where it gets confusing. The mortgagee, that is usually the lender. Okay, and a beneficiary, that is also the lender. Okay. So the difference is in a trust deed, you have this third party that steps in between. Okay. And there, all right. So the trustee, there's a third party who steps in the middle and handles all these instruments. Okay, on behalf of the lender or the trustor, depending which direction you're going in. Okay, but this is where the big difference is. All right, the mortgage does not have that third party. Okay, in a trust deed, the trustee holds the legal title. All right, does that make sense for everybody? Okay, so to answer Jessica's question, a trust regarding will, different conversation. It's a totally different thing. All right, I don't want to go in more depth with this just yet, but I want to go over those basic points. How this works, it's a little more depth. Everybody, no matter what state you're in, should know what I just went over. The depth beyond that could vary upon what state you're in, okay, depending if you're a state that uses mortgage or trust deeds. But this basic surface level, everybody should understand. Hopefully, I gave you guys a lot more clarity on this. I know that confuses a lot of people, so hopefully that helps everybody out. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're a little more clear on this than you were before. Give me a thumbs up or a high five. We always do thumbs up. Let's see if everybody knows the high five icon. Oh, Jenny in Colorado knows the high five icon. Okay, moving right along. Okay, I also get asked a lot about deeds. Okay, deeds. Joe Gonzalez, I'm not sure if that's the Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath rock and roll sign, or if that's like a peace sign, or like the Texas hook 'em horns. That could go a lot of different directions. But either way, I get what you're getting at. I appreciate the positive feedback. All right, here we go. Hook 'em horns. I guess you're from Texas. All right, so, I guess it's not the Texas hook 'em horns then. Okay, moving right along. Deeds. Okay, who knows what a deed is? What's a deed? Evidence of the transfer. Okay, deed is evidence of the transfer. Good job, guys. Evidence of the transfer. It's not evidence of title. What is title? So deed is evidence of transfer. What's title? Who knows what that is? What's title? So deed is evidence of a transfer. is ownership. Good. Okay. It's a lot, so I'm going to bring it up once again here. Mm. Oh, sorry, my screen went out for a second. Back again. Sorry, guys. Okay, title is ownership. There's two ways you could take title. Who knows what they are? What are the two ways you could take title? Okay, we talk about concurrent and severalty. Good. Just real quick, I don't want to go into too much depth on this. What are the two types of concurrent estates I talk about a lot that applies to everybody? There's different types of concurrent estates, but there's two that really come up no matter where you are. They are joint tenancy and tenancy in common. Joint tenancy and tenancy in common. Okay. What makes joint tenancy joint tenancy? What makes that joint tenancy? What do you guys know about joint tenancy? What do we know about joint tenancy? So I see to tip, which stands for time, title, interest, and possession, and the right of survivorship. Good. Tenancy in common has what? So joint tenancy is time, title, interest, and possession. Tenancy in common has what? What do you guys think? Possession. Excellent. We talk about it a lot in other sessions, so I won't go in too much depth on this today. Joint tenancy is time, title, interest, and possession. Tenancy in common has possession. Right, no right of survivorship. Good job, John. So the other thing that comes up, that I started this slide with was the word deed. Deed. There's different types of deeds you need to be aware of. Okay? All right, and here they are on the board. You have your general warranty deed, a special warranty deed, and a quitclaim deed. In some states, you have a grant deed, which functions similar to the general warranty deed. For you guys who use that, you get confused. Okay, first off, what's the quitclaim deed? Let's start at the bottom and go up. What's the quitclaim deed? Who knows what a quitclaim deed is? What's the quitclaim deed? What do you guys think? No warranties. When they say warranties, who knows what they're talking about? So that sounds very fancy. But what does warranty mean? What does that mean? No warranties. So it's not just a fancy word that we memorize. So what that means is they can't really ensure that it's clear and marketable title, right? There's no clouds in title, there's no liens. It's clear who's owned it before, things of that nature. And as you guys wrote, for that reason, you generally use a quitclaim deed when you're going through family, father to son, brother to brother, sister to sister, that kind of thing. Okay? So that's what the quitclaim deed is all about. It's immediate transfers, changing the name. A special warranty deed does what? Provides for the life of the property during the previous owner. Okay, maybe I could have worded that a little better, but hopefully you guys get what I mean. Okay, provides that warranty of the life of the property during the previous owner. Okay. Does everybody see that? Give me a thumbs up if you see that. Sometimes I need that interaction so I know the internet doesn't go out or we have a bad connection. So that's why I asked for you guys for the thumbs up, the high fives of that nature. See if it goes silent on me, then I'm wondering, hello, is anybody there? Anybody there? And then I feel like I'm just talking to the screen. Okay, here we go. So if that's what the special warranty does, what does the general warranty deed do? What does the general warranty deed do? What do you guys think? So that's, and like I said, this one's more similar to what some of you guys would use when you use a grant deed. For those guys in those states use a grant deed, such as California. Provides warranty for the, ready for this, guys, entire life of the property. Okay, so it has to do with time. Yeah, so the quitclaim deed does nothing. Special warranties for the previous life of the owner, excuse me, for the life of the property during the previous ownership. And general warranty deed provides for the entire life of the property. Okay, those are the big differences in the three. I'll create a little spacing here so you guys can see it a little better. Entire life of property. Put that in bold there. Life during the previous owner. And quitclaim does nothing. Okay. Now, once again, I'm giving you guys the very simple overview on this because I believe that's the best way to learn. You got to understand the simple stuff before you get into the more complicated. Otherwise, the more complicated stuff won't make any sense. Okay. All right. So how's that? So far, so good? Okay, moving right along here. I'm glad you guys are liking this. I was a little insecure and nervous about trying this new thing I'm doing with you guys. So for those of you guys who have been doing this with me, we've done 4 things. I did the vocabulary flashcards. We did a word cloud. We've done questions. And now I'm doing like an old school classroom setting lesson. Just curious, for those of you guys who've been with me for a while, which one have you liked the best? The word cloud, the flashcard vocabulary review, the questions, or this old school classroom style? You like this one the best? Thank you, Lisa England. Or maybe a lot of you guys just like the variety, a different thing each day. So I do appreciate the feedback. I know Arthur does. We like knowing from you guys so we could always do a little better. Okay, so moving right along. All right, good. Okay, so those are the concepts I want to go over today. We still got a little time, so let's hit up some words in the word cloud that I have set up for everybody. And we know the rules of the word cloud. So I'm going to put a word in the cloud, and you guys got to write down the definition with as few words as possible. All right, ready? Here we go. Principle of contribution. What do you guys think? Principle of contribution. Principle of contribution. What's that about? Okay, so this is appraisal principle, which just says that how much would a certain item increase the value of a property, like a swimming pool or something like that. You'll find this in your market analysis or appraisal section when you guys study that. Okay, moving right along. Nice job, Linda. Mechanics lien. Who knows what this is? A mechanics lien. Mechanics lien. Okay, it's when you owe money for work that's been done on the property. Good, nice job, Erles. It's a specific lien. Good, mean they come after your property. Nice job. Net lease. Net lease. Okay, triple net lease, sometimes called. So what is the three things in that triple? So John wrote triple. So what three items are they talking about? Okay, so what it stands for is taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Okay, so Linda seems to be the first one to get that right. I want everybody to write this down. Net lease, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Net lease, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Everybody write that, please. Net lease, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Say it one more time. Net lease, taxes, insurance, and maintenance. Please write that down. Okay, good. So we're all going to get that right. Just out of curiosity, this is not your average lease, somebody who uses it when they rent a property and lives there. What is? What is your typical type of lease that your average renter uses? What is? So it's not a net lease, but what type of lease? So good. So gross lease. So that'd be a gross lease. Good. That's the one where you just pay a set amount and you don't bother the rest of the stuff. That'd be a gross lease. Okay. Moving right along. Intestate. What does that mean? What does intestate mean? Intestate. No will. Good. Functional obsolescence. Excuse me, guys. Functional obsolescence. What does that mean? Poor home design. Good job, Lisa. Poor home design. Okay, it's a type of depreciation. Good. Encroachment. What's that? Encroachment. Encroachment. Over the property line. Good. It's a form of trespass. Excellent. Nice job, Sheila. Littoral rights. What do you guys think? Littoral rights. That's right. It's a tree hanging over your property. A good example of encroachment. Littoral rights have to do with lakes. Good. Lakes. Excellent. Let's do one more. Easement and gross. What's that? Easement and gross. Oh, Sheila said no, wait. What did you want me to wait for? Okay, easement and gross is just an easement. Everybody ready? There's no dominant tenement. That's why you guys are writing utility. Because the definition of easement and gross is not utility. That's just a great example of it, okay? That just means somebody's crossing the property to get to things like utilities, right? That's a good example. But the definition is there's no dominant tenement, okay? So don't get confused with the definition of something versus a good example of something, okay? I don't want anybody doing that because then if you don't see the example you're using, you might get confused on your exam. So sometimes it's more important to know that definition of something. Does everybody get that? Okay, so an easement and gross, who wrote that? Somebody wrote that. Alex did. Nice job, Alex Gray. No dominant tenement. Okay, meaning you're crossing the property, but you're not trying to get to another one. Okay. John, you're not confused. You've been attending these webinars for a while now, and you always got the right answers. I'm pretty confident you're going to do well. Okay, everybody give John a big boost of confidence. Tell him he's going to do great because he's been here all the time. Say, you're going to do great, John. Give him like a high five, a proverbial YouTube chat high five. We've been watching you do this for a while, and you've been answering them right and participating. So I think you're going to do great. Okay. So that being said, we tried a new format today. I hope you guys liked it. And I'm going to be back on Monday, so you guys are going to enjoy your weekend. I hope you had good plans. My plans this weekend, I plan to watch my nephews and nieces play softball. Not the most exciting thing, but they enjoy it. It's always like a special guest when an uncle comes and watches. So that's my big plans for the weekend. I hope you guys have good plans for the weekend. If you're studying, great. And once again, don't be shy in posting questions you may have on the Facebook group. Then I'll pull some of those and I'll plan another class like I did today around those questions. Okay. So that being said, this is Joe from PrepAgent. Thanks, guys. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.